Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Divine Journey. So, there is going to be a speed build video. Of course, it's already recorded. I'm going to release it tomorrow. I'm going to release it a day after this episode. So, and it is working on the betweenlands area, and I totally forgot to charge this up. Let me do that real quick. Now, I will say that I did use, like, my cobalt hammer, my Madoc, and stuff like that when I was working on the betweenlands, just because mining up all the resources and gathering up all the resources and stuff like that just went a lot quicker using our, more advanced tools. So I did use and abuse those a lot. Now today our main goal is going to be betweenland stuff. We're going to be working on the farming aspect of betweenlands because it does work a little bit differently, a lot of it does, than standard vanilla farming. Okay. But before we do that, I want to do something that I've been meaning to do for a while, and that's set up our first little set of hobgoblins. I do believe, and honestly, I think we could probably use an ender chest. Let me order one of those, and let me get a pickaxe. And I think I'm going to go for a diamond pick. And then I'm also going to want just a couple leads. So let me get like 2 of these. And we'll go ahead and grab our ender chest. Now, white. And that's our standard import line. Yeah, let's go with that. So let me get... I'm going to go ahead and change this over before we go down there. And I'm excited to show you guys the betweenlands area. You will see this can actually go. And this can go. I did do a little bit of, like, automation stuff for wheat, like, not really automation stuff, but just changing some stuff over, not for wheat, but for moss stone. And so that's why that water bedrockium drum is there, because that water system works fine, but it doesn't, it's not super fast on demand, so I wanted kind of like a larger buffer there for that. So anyways, let me go ahead and we're going to set up our first little set of hobgoblins. So I'm just going to grab one, and I'm going to hook him with a lead and put him right there. And then what we'll do is we'll just... Come here. Come here, you. There you go. I'm going to give him a pickaxe. So he's going to start mining for us. And you could say he's breaking my stone, but I didn't think about that. Okay. But he is working. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take another hobgoblin. I didn't think about him just wrecking this place. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see how much damage he does. Oh man, I don't know. I don't know if we want to do that right here or not. But if we take another hobgoblin and we hook it... Oops. Oops. Nope. Okay, stop breaking everything, you. I want to put this one right here. Yeah, he's really only breaking stone at his height level. So, I mean, I don't guess he's going to do that much damage, but let's go ahead and put down a chest right here. We're going to put down an ender chest. Will he recognize that ender chest? Yes. Okay. That's what I was hoping. So what's going to happen is this one's going to mine, and this one's going to... Is he going to break that stairs? Oh my gosh. I don't think they can break fences, though. I mean, I think he's only going to break stuff that he can... Well, and dirt. He's breaking dirt and stone. We'll just let him go and see how much damage he does. But anyways, there's a chance that they're going to mine up cobaltite. And that's what I'm hoping for. And this one's going to grab everything that he mines up and drop it off in the ender chest for us. And then he's just going to keep on mining. What are you going for now? What'd you find? He's like, hey, let me go break this real quick. If you don't mind terribly. Honestly, I think what I'm going to do is... Come on. I think I'm going to put him back here. Okay, so... We'll just attach him right there, and he can work in this section instead. And then let me, oh, you're coming with me. And then let's go grab this. And then what I'll end up doing is putting maybe like a hobgoblin down here just for decor that's not actually like breaking things. So he's like whipping one that's supposed to be working. We'll just put him there with his buddy. No, you need to go over there to your ender chest, friend. Not your friend, buddy. Okay, I'm going to have to come back through with some cobblestone and clean this up. That's fine. Or stone. I don't know where you think you're going, because you're not getting there. Your ender chest is right here. Okay, so, anyways, he is now mining. You can see he's dropping coal and different stuff, and they're just going to be working in here, working our mine for us. So, in a sense, they're kind of like a little quarry system of sorts, but not crazy powerful. But anyways, there is a chance for them to pick up cobaldite, and that is what we're hoping for. That's what we're wanting is cobaldite. So, and that should be, I should think that should be chunk loaded. So, alright, and I'll come back through there and clean that up a little bit later. I did die, you'll notice right there. Let me go ahead and remove that. Whenever I come through that portal, generally it starts with my head stuck inside of a block, and it kills me. So, that's why I died there. Alright, but anyways, oh, let's pop over here real quick. I did, and I'll show you how many nether stars we have. And I'll actually take you by there and show you that as well. I did upgrade this to a tier 5 altar. So we've got the beacons and we've got runes here. Just one more tier left to go. And then over here, I still haven't set this one up yet. I need to do that. But I was really busy between this episode and last working on the build that you guys are about to see. Or what I've started doing on it anyways. And then these two over here, our auto crafting setups, are now tier 5s as well. So they seem to be able to keep up with mana, I mean blood essence, a lot better. Because there's so many like sacrifice runes now. They seem to be a bit more effective. Oh, and let's take a look at our nether star situation. So presently we have 1,505 nether stars. Oh yeah, that's right. Because I checked it. I was thinking like, wait, I checked it like right before I fell asleep, or I mean right before I got off, I think. But yeah, that's all working beautifully. Now I did end up raising the ceiling on this. Okay, and it's really, really bizarre. Okay, you'll see it's one higher. Basically, it's 4 high now on the interior. It's not actually what fixed it. Okay, like I got about 300 skulls or something like that. Then all of a sudden, the Ender Eye or the Killer Joes started working. Like they were just like, okay, we're gonna work, and they started killing withers, and they did that for about 200 wither kills. Then when I came over here, I went to the Betweenlands for a little bit. I came back over here, and they'd stopped working again. So I was like, okay, and I messed around with them, couldn't get them back working again. Then I ended up raising the ceiling, and then they started working again. So I don't know. I have no actual clue. It's like sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I mean, like I said in the last episode, my build in the test world was a 3x3x3 block, and they work perfectly. So I have no clue. I have no actual clue. Oh, this right here is all steak. So I can pop through and eat if I need to, because I was building and, you know, I didn't want to have to mess with food and all that stuff in the Betweenlands. I mean, I still got... Alright, but anyways, I will show you guys what we've done so far. It's far from done. I mean, it's taking a while gathering up all the materials and stuff like that. I think the speed build video is like 35 minutes of sped up stuff. And anyways, this is what we've done thus far. Okay, so basically what I'm going with is our portal is going to be here in the center, and then I've been adding plants and plants and plants like crazy. And these things are kind of weird. These wisps, sometimes they won't let me get close to them. They'll vanish before I can go up and harvest them. I don't know if it had to do with the fact I had lichen in my inventory when I tried to do it or what. But, and by the way, that lichen is actually decaying, so it's not going to work right there. But oh, and these blue cap mushroom stalks and these little mushrooms here, these blue cap mushrooms, they glow. So they actually emit light. But anyways, these front sections are just going to be kind of like decorative gardens. And this is going to be where you enter the area. So from this direction. And then we're going to do... if we take a look at the Betweenlands... And actually, let me just look up weed wood, I guess. Right here, weedwood has its very own walkways. Okay, so we're going to use those to kind of bridge ourselves over from this area and bridge it over to kind of like the mainland. And these actually give you a speed increase when you walk on them. So I don't know, is there any other kinds of walkways? No, it's just weedwood. But they give you a speed increase when you run on them, so they will be perfect for bridging that. I just haven't done them yet. Because just this section took a while. And then these towers, they've got a lot of work to do right now. They're just mossy cobblestone. But what I'm thinking is we're going to have mossy cobblestone towers. And there's going to be like, I know at least one of them, I'm going to do it so it's kind of like half destroyed. So, you know, it's been just age and time and all this vegetation and stuff. It's just torn away at the blocks. And at least one of the towers is going to have the top part kind of destroyed and it all like kind of shattered. And maybe even go as far as to put it down in the water. Like the top of it that's crumbled off and stuff and have like debris around it. And then there's going to be wall sections, like wall segments that kind of run down through here. And I'm going to do kind of like a big entryway here. So it's kind of like a ruined castle in the middle of the swamp. And I've got to bring all these blocks down and actually make it touch, you know, the bottom of the water and everything. So it has like that support look. And I've got to come through and do vines on them and then do like detail work because it's not just going to be a mossy cobblestone like tower. I need like ridges and things like that on it. Just trying to get the base work done and get it far enough that we could come in here and maybe start farming in this section and stuff. But I am wanting just a ton of vegetation. Like this is only the beginning. I want these like really, really dense vegetation. I want... I've noticed that the moss, like this moss right here, and this lichen will decay. Like, I had a lot more lichen than this. You can see already, I think 2 have decayed just since we started. But I am going to cover these pitstone tiles in certain parts. I don't know if there is is there a mossy pitstone tile? I don't think so. No. But I'm going to do something so it looks like this is a little bit more overgrown through here. Yeah, I'm just going to have it just be like an overgrown keep, I guess. Not really a castle, but more like a keep, overgrown keep. And then right here, this is our AE system. I've got to set up something to keep the vines off of this. Just have something that kind of sticks out or something. With forge multi-blocks, or forge micro-blocks. But we can access our AE system. You can see I still got fences here, and probably, not in that one. I had like a couple different crafting recipes. During the build video that was set in there, but and then this is going to be one of our farming areas. This is actually going to have a thatch roof from betweenlands. I'm not at the point right now where I can make a bunch of thatch, but hopefully after this episode we will be. So, and then I'm kind of using will-o-wisps as decor. They don't really seem to emit light, I don't think. As you can see, I mean, mobs can spawn all around them, but I am using those for decor and then lighting with a lot of these like blue cap mushrooms. And I will probably go through and add some places where the tiles, you know, normally I don't like the floors that are mix match blocks, but in a situation like this when you have like ruins that have been degraded over time and stuff's been destroyed, then I think the mix match blocks make a little bit more sense, where we may have some sections where grass is broken through and little things like that. Would be a whole lot easier with like chisel. I would love to have chisel in 1.7 just for like things like this, but yeah, you can see the wisps. I think maybe it has to do with time of day or something. I don't know. But they stop allowing me to get close to them. But anyways, that's what I've been working on. That's what I've been doing. So you'll see in the build video all the just area that I've destroyed in search for these, like the pitstone and the between stone tiles and stuff like that. Oh, and I don't know if you noticed, I did make an ultimate furnace. Now that we have tons of Zavasio from all the wither killing, I did make an ultimate furnace. So anyways, today what I want to focus on is getting some of this set up so that we have farming, so that we have food and resources and stuff like that to use in our betweenlands endeavors. Okay? And I will say, I mean, the speed build, we got this much done in the first one. It'll be over the course of a couple because it's a fairly large build. And I mean, speed builds are usually non-sped up. It's like 3 hours of stuff. Plus stuff that I cut out. So I think That speed build was about 4 or 5 hours of stuff that I was working on. So, but it should be a little bit quicker moving on because I have a lot of resources and kind of have everything planned out and where it's going and everything. But anyways, I've left this space here open and this space over here open because we're going to be using those for farming today. So let's go ahead and get ourselves a bit of this mud, and I want to get these swamp reeds. Okay, we're going to start with reeds and kelp. I think it's going to be the first things that we get set up for farming. So what I'm going to do is we'll set up our swamp reeds just right along through here. 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we'll do a line here, here. And we'll just bring them back 10 blocks. I'm going to have to go get a little bit more swamp mud. And let's head on back over here. And let's see. I got a stack of it, which is more than enough. And we'll just go ahead and bring this on back. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. And then what we're going to do, let's get, we're going to have to get water in this. So, between stone, I'm just going to go ahead and grab some between stone tiles. And I think, do I have any more? I do not. I'm just going to go ahead and bring this back. And then what we're going to do, we're going to have our swamp kelp and our swamp reeds farmed right in this area. Okay, so then I'm just going to bring this back along through here. And let me get some more, let's see, how much between stone? 25 pieces. Okay, we'll just turn that into tiles. I could have swore I had more lying around after the speed build, but maybe not. We'll just bring that back. And then what we're going to do is, let's come on underneath this. Like that. Let me go get some more between stone, because we're definitely going to need it along this process. And like I said, I'm using the hammer through here because all I'm doing is gathering resources, you know. Not the most exciting thing ever. My hunger actually took a hit too, so I'm going to have to deal with that before too long. Okay, and I'm going to have to upgrade to ultimate furnaces for like everything, because we're definitely going to want them because they're like crazy fast. They're crazy fast. Okay, but let's do that on back, and then we're going to do the same thing on this section here. And then I'm probably just going to do the floor right here. And it's not too big of a concern for me to, oh, that's weird that spawned right there, actually. I'm going to grab it, though. Oh, wait, I can't do this right here. My bad. My bad. I don't need between stone tiles right here. I need mud. That's why I got all this extra mud here. And we'll go ahead and run it out like that. And then we'll do the same thing over here. Let's do just mud straight back like that. Okay, so I've got like this kind of little design here, 2 deep right there. And then let me, I gotta remove the vines here. This place is so overgrown. Let me get, I'm going to go ahead and get 2 vacuum chests. And that's just because it makes our lives easier as far as collecting goes, because I hate chasing down, same way with sugarcane, I hate chasing those things down. Now, honestly, these things wouldn't be that bad to automate. By the way, in my speed build, I know I point this out, but look over there in the distance. You see those silhouettes of like people? I don't know if I ever pointed those out before, but they're creeping as can be. Like they were like really kind of wigging me out when I was working on this. And I've got more swamp kelp. No, I don't. Okay. But we got our 2 vacuum chests, and I'm going to put these down like, actually I did this 10 long. Let's go ahead and make it 11 long. Okay. Change my mind. And I tell you what, instead of doing a vacuum chest, let's do an ender collector. In fact. Well, I don't know that it would cover the whole area though, would it? Like if I was to put it like right here in the middle. No, it covers most of the farm, but not all the farm. Okay, never mind. So, vacuum chest it is. And what we'll do is we're just going to put these like in the center. I'm going to remove like this block right here. We'll put a vacuum chest. And then I'll remove this block right here, and we'll put a vacuum chest. And then in the center, we'll have collection. So these things have a range of 6. That's perfect. And then what we'll do is, let's get, we'll do a weedwood chest. It fits this area a bit better. And then let me get some item conduits. And we'll just put that right there. We'll say extract's always active, extract always active, and then just bring that up to our weedwood chest. And then I'll have to put a facade there. That's fine. These anglers will drive you insane, I swear, when you're working near the water. And we'll say you can insert into that weedwood chest. So, there we go. And that just makes it so that I don't have to chase down the items and try to collect all of them and all that mess. Okay. So the next thing that we are going to want is going to be a weedwood bucket. And it's crafted just like this. Reed rope and weedwood planks. So I do have some reed rope, right? Yes. Okay. Let me get one of these. And let me grab a bucket of this nasty water here. And basically I want to fill all this up with water. And this can be used as an infinite water source. So, all this mud. Okay, so there we go. You'll notice it does kind of like flip off there, like flip down. I don't know. I guess it thinks it's flowing all the way or something. I don't know. But anyways, let's go ahead and do the same on the other side. And like I said, this is easy to automate. If you wanted to automate, you could easily automate it with pistons. But I'm going to go ahead and just fill this up all the way up. So 2 deep for this water right here. There we go. So now we've got just like this. And then what we'll do is we'll come through with our swamp reed. And we're going to go ahead and just plant this stuff down. There we go. And then right here, swamp reed works just like sugarcane. It has to be planted next to water. And then we plant it on mud. And then the swamp kelp, what we're going to do is we're going to put this down at the bottom of here, down inside this little mud pit. And actually, is that not going to be high enough? I don't know, because like it says it never breaks the, I think, oh, you know what it is. The block itself doesn't break the water. It's only 1 high, but it looks like 2. Okay, because if you notice, I'm not targeting it right now. I'm targeting the mud behind it. A lot of these plants are this way, like these guys. You have to target the very bottom, the volar pads. Like doing that does nothing. And this swamp kelp works the same way. So, but then if I was to get out our watering can, and we started with just watering these. I'm assuming they'll work with watering cans. Our swamp reed just grew. There we go. And somehow it didn't end up in the chest. It ended up just on the ground there, but whatever. Okay, the swamp reed can be affected by the sugarcane. Oh, that's not working as well as I'd hoped. I'll tell you what, I might get another vacuum chest. Like maybe 2 more. And we'll give those a minute to craft. And then what I can do is I can put them on each side of the chest there. That way we have item collection from each direction. So we'll just put vacuum chest right there, and we'll put a vacuum chest right there. And then let me pop down here. We'll say you can extract always active, and you can extract always active. Okay. So now anything that they get, it's just going to go into that chest, and that way I just hate collecting these things. And this swamp kelp may take a while to grow, since the watering can doesn't seem to affect it. There is a type of bone meal that we can make in the betweenlands, so we'll probably try making that here in just a little bit and see if we can grow it. But okay, so our first batch of swamp reed is done, and then we'll just come over here. I'm gonna have to go get food. Yeah, let me go ahead and pop through and get food, and we'll come back to the swamp kelp. I'm gonna have to harvest up a bunch of this. I mean, technically, I could come over here. There we go. get the mud beneath it, and then it breaks pretty quickly. The nice thing is ours will be able to just harvest the tops of it, and it should be a little bit easier doing that. But all right, so that one's all planted out, and then I've still got 4 more here. They actually seem to kind of emit light. Yeah, swamp kelp emits light, so that is nifty. That's very, very nifty. Okay, so let me go get some food real quick. If we find that these don't grow, like if they just refuse to grow, I can always drop the mud down a layer. That would be fine. But they should. I mean, if you look at these, I know the wiki says they'll never break the water, but I think the tops break the water. Just the block itself will never break the water. Because 1 high is plenty high on these, and we can see whenever they're grown with the little yellow flowers that'll stick up out of there. But we shall see. So anyways, that's swamp reed and swamp kelp, which of course we can use that stuff. You know, there's quite a few. If we look at swamp reed, we can turn it into that reed rope. We can also cook it to make dried swamp reed. And then with that we can make donuts and we can make thatch, which I definitely want. Then the kelp, I think mainly just use it as food. Is really the only use for it, so that's why I didn't worry as much about planting like a bunch of those. Because hopefully we'll have plenty of food options once this is all said and done. Alright, so next up in here, we're going to get into the actual, like, tilled farming, so to speak. But we're going to go ahead and make ourselves, to make it a little bit easier on us, we're going to go ahead and make ourselves a purifier. This is weedwood and octane, which I've got octane, and I can easily have weedwood. As you can tell, I cut down on one of those big weedwood trees, and it's just like, okay, never have to worry about weedwood ever again. That's why I made a Terra truncator. Alright, so there's our purifier, and for this, I'm actually going to want like an infinite water source, and honestly, I might just put it right here. And then, of course, we can get water like that. I wonder if reservoirs work with... It's actually a good idea. Let me try something. You can't automate it with conduits. Now, we could do it with autonomous activators. That wouldn't be a problem. And we might do that once we move it into a little bit more permanent place. But for right now, we'll leave it right here. So, and can I use like standard buckets to fill this, or does it have to be, it has to be weedwood buckets? Okay, so then for, okay, yeah, see the swamp kelp has grown. So we can just reach down in there, break off some pieces of it, and it gets sucked into the chest. And there we go, there's more swamp kelp. Anyways, I think this thing can store up to 16 buckets, I believe it is. And you can see it's actually filling the purifier up in there. Yeah, we've got like 4 more buckets or something that can go in here. 1 more bucket. Alright, yes. Okay, so it's filled. You don't have to fill it all the way. I'll just go ahead and do that because we're going to use it a little bit here. And then we're going to need to get ourselves some sulfur. Of course, this is like the main material in Betweenlands. And then I want to get some swamp, I think it's just swamp dirt. I don't think you can actually purify swamp grass. You can spread it. I think purified swamp dirt. Maybe there's not a purified swamp grass in this version. That's possible. So anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to throw our swamp dirt into there. And you're going to see that this is going to start running. It's going to start emitting some particles. And slowly going to start cooking through that. And what it's going to do is it's going to turn this swamp dirt into purified swamp dirt. And the reason that we're doing this is when it comes to farming, one nice thing about farming is your crops can't be trampled. They also don't require water like standard vanilla crops do. However, whenever you have this set up and you're farming, your swamp dirt can actually like basically decay and lose all its nutrients, and then crops won't grow. They'll actually die. Now, there is a way that you can bring them back, but the easiest way to do it is to just turn your swamp dirt into purified swamp dirt. If you do that, then your dirt won't be able to decay, and it'll stay purified forever, you know. So really, I mean, that's the best way to handle it if you're going to be farming in a spot for very long. Now, if it's just a temporary farm, just a quick setup farm, you're fine to just use regular swamp dirt, but we're wanting something long-term here. So, and I love it because all this greenery just adds to the effect of this area anyways. Alright, so that's cooking through our swamp dirt and purifying it, and the reason I have this area, this section, kind of cordoned off here, let me actually get... Let me get some of this sap, and I'm going to make some sap jello real quick. Is that not right? Oh, I have to smelt it first. That's right. And this restores 2 of that per each time we eat it, so it's a little bit more effective. And I will say that we're going to set up a system, hopefully this episode, to make it a whole lot easier to get sludge. Okay, because like sap isn't really a problem. Sludge is a little bit more of a problem. Because of the nature of the way that you have to collect it. It's generally from a mob, basically. Not killing the mob, it's just from the mob. So, anyways, let's see. We've got 2 little 3x3 farms. Let's go ahead and see if we can go find ourselves some seeds. Okay, because right now we have no seeds at all. Basically, in betweenlands, there's 3 different types of seeds. First up, if you look up seed, you have the Aspectrus seed and the purple pear bush seed. Now, Aspectrus actually has to be grown on fences, so just a heads up. And then purple pear bush. Then there's also one other thing, and that is spores. We need to go find ourselves some spores. Alright, so as it stands right now, the only seed that we can actually go out and hunt down in the betweenlands, I believe, is the spores. I think the Aspectrus and the white pear we have to actually find as loot, which could take a little while, honestly. So if we don't find it, if we don't get that up and going this episode, that's okay, because it's going to take a bit of exploration. I am going to pop down here. I don't know that we've ever found any seeds, but I'm going to double check in here. I've actually got to get all this stuff and move it over to our new home. Okay, I don't see any, so I don't see any seeds. But I'm hoping that by the next time, honestly, by the next time that we get into betweenlands in this series, we should be at the point where we don't have to use the jetpack or anything. We'll have everything kind of moved and settled and all that good stuff. Because we'll need some kind of a walkway. It's just not reasonable to have to run or swim all the way over every time. Alright, so what we're looking for is on these weedwood trees, sometimes there's fungus, like these right here, these shelf fungus. And we are looking for one of those with little creatures on it. There's a ginormous frog, a harlequin toad. Those things look so cool. Like, I wish they would turn that into like a mount or something. Yeah, it would be awesome. Because they're not aggressive or anything. They just kind of hang out. At least from what I've seen. I did kill one before, but I think it was during the speed build video, actually. There's actually... Let me grab a couple soul vials, because there is something here that I want to get. It's these guys right here, these mire snails. I want to go ahead and grab some of those. Now, these can actually be led... I can't remember... It's the same thing that you use to breed them, so we'll get into it in a minute, but our home's not really set up in a way that we could lead creatures there right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab those for the time being. Now there's a shelf fungus. There we go. There we go. That's the guy I'm looking for. This is a sporling. And they're little passive creatures. And we can kill them and get spores. We got 4 spores for killing that one. I'm not going to worry about finding any more of them, I don't think. There's not really too much need for it. Okay, well anyways, we're going to head back home. We got our first crop. And we can go over the basics of crops. Now if you get lucky... Oh, do we have another spoiling here? Nope. See this? This is actually really... I'm happy it did this. This rain... And actually, if we get back over to our house, it's terrible at our house. And I didn't think about it. But it's going to knock all of our... No, it's not. Never mind. It doesn't knock the plants down. Water does, but not just the rain. Now you're going to notice that water is going to start filling this up. Because it's built kind of like a basin. So water just kind of pours in here in all these puddles. start piling up through here. That is the reason that this is kind of blocked off and separate, is because if it rains like this, these puddles will actually destroy your crops. So you have to make sure that your farming area for like your crops, like your spores and stuff like that, you have to make sure that's covered. These, it doesn't matter. You know, these don't have to be covered. That's not a problem. But your spores and your basically any place where you're doing like compost, that has to be covered. Oh, and by the way, our purifier, if you look down in there, you can see all of our purified dirt down in there. It's like a little block form. I love the way it does that. It's awesome. Okay, so our spores, we're going to set these up. And tell you what, probably this area right here is going to be for our snails. Honestly, I think a 3x3 is plenty for farming. And then we'll do a little bit bigger for the Aspectrus whenever we find that seed. But we'll use the 3x3 for the pears and the spores. And I'll show you why that is. So we're going to go ahead and put down our purified swamp dirt. Just like that. And I'll go ahead and pop over here as well. And put down a little bit of it here. I'll tell you what, I need a mortar and pestle as well. So let me go ahead and just grab one of these. I know I have one already made, but it's quicker just to do that than to fly all the way over there. So let's set our mortar and pestle up like, man, look at this rain. It's just so dense. Like, just covers everything with wet. There we go. And what we're going to do, we're going to take some of this swamp reed before we start farming. We're going to go ahead and throw this in here, smelt it up. We're going to get dried swamp reed. And then what we can do is take this, throw it in the mortar. And we can start working it. And you'll notice that it's making ground dried swamp reed. Basically, this is bone meal for the betweenlands. There we go. And I don't know, does this stuff work on... No, it doesn't. It has to be on the compost stuff. Okay, so now we're ready to actually start farming. We got our purified swamp dirt. We got a little bit of bone meal, quote unquote. And then we're going to need to make ourselves a compost thing. Compost bin. This right here. And I'm just going to go ahead and smelt up like 2 of this Cymerite. There we go. Honestly, I tell you what, let me just go ahead and smelt up. Let's get 10, 18. We'll get 10 of these things. We'll get 10 composting bins. Because one of those things we're going to need multiples of. Because it takes time to run this through. So there we go. And there is 10 compost bins. And the question is, where do I want to set these up at? Honestly, I'm probably just going to put them like here, here, here. Here, here, here. And then we'll do like some over here as well. So we've got our little compost bins, and it says add compostable items to the compost bin. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to take plants. Bulb cap mushrooms, these are the ones that can't be planted, right? Yeah, these are just the ones you eat. And I think they restore, they give you night vision 2 and nausea 2. So we'll just shift right click to open these up. I love how all this stuff's like done in the real world. And we're just going to put our mushrooms into this. And you can just pile them up really, really thick like that. And then we're going to close it down. And you'll see that we get some particle effects. That means that it's running right now. And then, what else do I have that's compostable? Reed rope is. Okay. We're just going to put that into there. And then, let me get this flathead mushroom. We'll throw that in there. Let's get, maybe like 5 saplings. And we'll throw those in there, and now it's filled. And we'll go ahead and close that one. And do I have anything else in here that's... cave moss. Weedwood saplings. We'll take those mushrooms. Let's take some weedwood saplings. Let's take some... No, I don't want to take the cave moss, so... Dry bark also works. I was thinking some of that tree stuff would, but maybe not. Thorns can be used. Tangled root. And there's all kinds of things you can put in here. Pretty much any kind of plant matter that you come across can go into these. And you don't have to fill it all the way up. So we'll go ahead and close that one off. And this one, we're just going to put one mushroom in there. Okay, so we're going to let this run for a bit. And I think... Okay, that one's still running. But anyways, they're going to start turning everything into compost. And then what we need to do is let's get ourselves a betweenlands. I don't have any on me. Actually, I've got an octane shovel right here. And what we can do is we can come through and right-click this. And it turns it into dug purified swamp dirt. Now, you have to use a shovel that's compatible with the betweenlands. I also noticed in the build video shears. If you use vanilla shears to try to shear stuff in the betweenlands, it doesn't actually work. You're going to have to use betweenlands shears. So they've actually made it so that it requires their tools to really progress through here, which is kind of nice. I kind of like that. There's certain things, I mean, that you can still harvest, but like things that are silk touch, you can still use silk touch tools from, you know, I was using my Tinker's Construct stuff. That works no problem, but you'll notice this is starting to... Oh, this became standard swamp dirt. This swamp kelp, when it's put in like this dance, it actually removes the water block. See? Oh. Okay, I think I found what's causing it. Basically, whenever it's dug like this, if you don't fill it, it's supposed to turn back into just dug purified swamp dirt. But for some reason, I think it's a bug, and it's turning back into just swamp dirt, which is not what we want to happen particularly. Which pretty much means I've wasted all that purified swamp dirt, I think, to be perfectly honest, but that's okay. Okay, I let this run for a bit. The compost bins, and I did get some more swamp dirt, so let's go ahead and put that in, that purified swamp dirt. And if you right click these, by the way, you can check, and it says, like right now it says open the compost bin to add compostable items. That means it's done. You know, it's not composting anymore. If it's still composting, it'll say wait until it's finished. So for example, if we open up this one, right, this one only had the one mushroom in it. We shift right click, we look in there, you can see if we right click this, we got one piece of compost. But if we open up, say, these, that one we got 8. That one we got 5. And that one we got 4. So, if I'm correct, I believe it depends on what you put in there as to how much compost you get. But, thing is, it does seem like you get one as long as you put one item in there. So it might be best if you did just one mushroom in each, or, you know, I don't know. And also a side note, if we find that we use a lot of swamp kelp, because it's replacing the water, which is kind of not great. If we find that we use a lot, basically what we could do is we could make like a tall structure and have like the front with maybe like a forged micro block or something on the front, so that we could access like near the bottom of the swamp kelp and then build it up with water and have it so that water flows into the spots that where the swamp kelp was, so it's like infinite water source, and have it so that we could break it. So I mean, if we find that we use a lot of the swamp kelp, I'll do something like that. But honestly, with it only being food, really, I don't foresee us using a whole lot of it, to be perfectly honest. But anyways, let's go ahead and use, before this last bit changes, what we're going to do is we're going to take this compost and we're just going to right click it into these blocks. So now you can see the block tile, the betweenlands farm dirt -10 or _10 name. But anyways, we have filled the holes in this purified swamp dirt with compost. And then what we can do is we can take our spores and just right click them in there. And let's go ahead and do like 2 more of these for right now. Compost and compost. And you'll see it's all like connected textures and stuff. And basically what happens is this compost, you can harvest, like for example, where I planted these mushrooms, I'm going to be able to harvest these about 10 times. And then after that, that compost is going to get used up. Okay? And so what's going to happen is the plant's going to die and you'll be able to get the seed back out of it. But you're going to need to add more compost to the farm slot before you can grow more plants on it. So anyways, let's use some of our bone meal here. 5 of them, I'm halfway up. But anyways, our fungus is growing, our yellow dotted fungus. I think it's only got like 2 different growth stages. So, and like I said, there's 2 other seeds. Hopefully we'll find those as loot. I mean, right now, they are planned to have... what? Oh my gosh. They are planned to have a way to get them in-world, like outside of just loot, a bit later in, but for right now, it's just loot is the only option for those. So, and I'll tell you what, let me go ahead and take this purified swamp dirt over here, and let's close that up. And then, let's see, I was originally thinking about putting mire snails in this, but I'm going to need, honestly, I'll probably put mire snails in this section here, I think. And right over here, we're going to do something a little bit different. Let me get, open up this. Let me get, what is this? Swamp? Nope. I need swamp dirt. And, or no, actually I want swamp grass. I do believe. And part of this, probably along the back section here, we're going to have the atricus, or whatever it's called. I can't think of something like that. We're going to have that in there. And then this section here, what I'm going to do is, let's go ahead and build this out a little bit. It's 3 blocks. I'm going to put a purified swamp dirt right there in the middle of that. And we'll actually see if the grass can spread over to it. I don't know. I know it doesn't show up as a block option, but... And then right here, we're going to do the same thing. Put that there, and then we'll do like 1 more right here. And then what I'll do is I'll use the rest of this for that atrophinium or atrophicus or whatever plant. And I'm going to show you another feature of farming that I love. I love it. Let me get our Syramorite shears. And let's go out and find a plant that I want. Actually, you know what? I have a plant that I want, now that I think about it. Alright, let's go grab, like these, blue cap mushrooms. Okay? Because I want a few of these things, and they're not very common to find. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually grow these as a plant. And so what we can do is we can take our shovel and right-click that, add some compost, and then add... Oh, will it not accept blue cap mushrooms? Let me, Oh, you know what? This hasn't actually been added in this version. Because this is 1.7. I think the highest version they got up to was version 1.0. And the version that this was added, I didn't realize this wasn't added until 2.0. But they did add a way that you could farm any basic plant. And that's basically it. You put compost in a hole and then surround it with blocks that it can spread to. It doesn't have to be all 8 blocks. That just kind of maximizes the chance and the amount, you know, that it can spread and stuff like that. But basically, if I was to put, like, say, blue bulb cap mushrooms or volar pads or something like that into there. There we go. Let me grab a volar pad. For some reason, one of them didn't drop. Oh, that's right, because it's a chance. But yeah, I can't put that in there. But in a later version, they do allow you to spread your plants that way. So, and make new ones and everything. Oh, that's neat. Can they all grow moss, or is that just... I don't remember that being there whenever I planted them. Oh, wow, they're all growing all kinds of stuff. I don't remember that being there. It seems like there's a chance they can grow stuff on them. I don't think there's any way to harvest it or anything, but that is pretty neat. Well, since that doesn't work, sadly, let's go ahead and move on. And what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to get a... Can I get a weedwood gate? Okay, and we're going to set up our mire snails next, I do believe. So let's get ourselves some kind of block. Do I want to use smooth pitstone? I think I want to use smooth pitstone. And we are going to start farming mire snails and one other mob in particular. And I'll show you why that is in just a moment. Because earlier, you know, I ate that sludge jello, right? And it restored 2 of my decay stuff. And that's definitely something that we're going to want to have being restored, you as much as we can. Actually, I am gonna do something here so it's not such a tight squeeze. We'll have our mob pits laid out like that. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm gonna do it like this. And then we'll fill that in so you can still get by the fences like through here. But what I'm going to do is, let's lay this out. I'm going to do it like this, I think. And we'll go ahead and put a fence right there. And, oh yeah, I can't trample those, so it doesn't matter. And we're going to go ahead and put a fence gate right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and put swamp grass in here. I love this swamp grass, by the way. I love that like color of grass. It works perfectly for this build. I'm actually going to need a couple more pieces of that, but oh, I do have swamp dirt. That can spread, so I'll just use that. Okay, and the first mob that I want to put in is going to be our mire snails. We're just going to put these in right there, and then another one right there. Okay, and you can actually breed these guys with sludge balls. Now, you notice he's going to try to get over that fence. He's going to try hard to get over that fence. The reason is, and one thing you have to watch out for, is mire snails will actually devour your crops. They love to eat crops. And I think it's any crop. They will try to eat it. So, they're like one of... There's only 2 things that can destroy your crops. Like, if you notice, if I come over here and I start just jumping on these, it's not going to do anything. And they don't need water or anything like that. But mire snails and rain will kill your crops. So, you have to have them covered and you have to have them protected from mire snails. So, just a heads up on that. Of course, I'm being daring and putting it right next to the mire snails. But what we're going to need to do to breed these guys is we're going to have to get sludge balls. And I will show you how you get sludge balls. Oh, let me go get some food so I can actually like sprint. Alright, so what we're going to want to do is find one of these biomes. This is sludge plains. And it's covered in mud and swamp dirt. It's really nasty looking. Now, you will see Lycanite, the jousts spawning. They're passive creatures. And even though I went through and disabled all the creatures, jousts and those one dinosaurs still spawn. They may have just been left over, you know, that had spawned and they just haven't, you know, they don't despawn since they're passive. They won't despawn naturally, but that's fine. This is the guy that we're looking for right here. A sludge. So let's go ahead and take him home. Now, I think our grass will work for this. Not for sure. If it doesn't work, we can change it over to just swamp dirt. But basically, if we put down this guy right here, he's going to bounce around a bunch. And you'll notice he's leaving behind these, like, this brown trail of nasty. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to make this a little bit easier on ourselves. Let's get ourselves a vacuum chest. Love this guy. He's like, hey, let me have those crops. Mire snails, by the way, they're the ones that are passive. There's some snails that are not passive. Mire snails, however, are passive. And so what I'm going to want to do is let's go right above this. So like right in there, I think. Yeah, that's perfectly in the top center. We're going to put a vacuum chest right up here. And that way it can collect items from this guy. And I'm going to say that the range is like 4. Should be good. But anyways, that brown sludge that he's leaving behind, you'll notice it does despawn. But what we need to do is we need to just hit this with a shovel. Okay? And we have to be cautious not to get him with our shovel. That's the worst thing. But if something happens to him, we can go catch another one or something, I guess. But it's not the easiest thing because he actually has a lot of range. As you can tell. But anyways, whenever we're harvesting that, we are getting sludge balls. Okay, now one thing that I could do, that I'm going to do real quick, is let's upgrade him. Let's get a jailer safari net. Because I don't want him to ever despawn. I want him to just be here for us. So we're going to grab him in this. And we'll put him back. So there we go. Now we have all the sludge that we need. So we'll go ahead and get a few of these sludge balls. And you can see that if I hold these, here come the mire snails. Like, they want some of this. If I come over here, they're like, hey, let me have some of that. So we'll just go ahead and feed him. And this is a really neat mechanic because you get, instead of getting a baby, you get this egg. And you'll notice it kind of pulsates like it's breathing. And once that egg hatches, then it does take a little while to hatch. But once it hatches, we'll get a baby mire snail. So, and then of course we can harvest these for snail meat and stuff. And those shells, which we'll use the shells a bit, probably next time we come into the Betweenlands, like the next episode in the Betweenlands, because the next episode in the Betweenlands we are going to be doing, oh, these are mature. We'll go ahead and just break it, and you'll notice that we got 2 yellow dotted fungus and some spores. So we'll just replant that. This yellow dotted fungus, I believe... Okay, I was thinking there was a way that you could turn those into spores, but may not be able to in this version. I believe in 2.0 you can change them over. Like, swamp reed is super useful. Swamp kelp, at least in this version, it's not that useful. I mean, it's just like a little food. There's nothing... I mean, I think you can grind it up, which will... I mean, like, next time we get in the Betweenlands, you'll see a lot of the use for a lot of the grinded stuff. Like those mire snail shells, I don't think they're actually used for anything, aside from the grinding stuff, but that's alchemy, basically. All your potion making and stuff like that. Your herb lore stuff, which we'll get into that stuff like next episode, and we'll get into geckos and all that, which is fun. There's so many like little mechanics in this, and honestly, unless you sit on the wiki and read it, like that's what I've been doing, it's hard to find like any information on this stuff, because NEI does not do the trick, because so much of this stuff is done in a special way. Like, for example, if you look up like swamp reed, you've got ground dried swamp reed. Well, if you click on it, there's no recipe for it, because these things don't show up in NEI like the mortar and pestle and stuff, because so much of it is crafted in world, so it works a little bit differently. That one's mature, and no, that one wasn't mature. Whoops, 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 whoops. Okay, and one other thing that I would like to do before we end out this episode, because I know it's getting fairly close to wrapping up point, and it's something we're going to farm real quick, even though it's not going to be useful until the next time we get in the Betweenlands, once we start getting into alchemy. But it does kind of fit with the theme of today's episode, and we have a little bit of time to do this. So, and then the next time we come into the Betweenlands, I'm hoping a bit more of the base is done. It should be by the next time we come in. Probably all done. Okay, I don't have one over here, but what I'm wanting is I want a rubber tree sapling. We may not have encountered... I can't remember if we ever encountered any so far. Let me fly around for a minute. There we go, rubber tree log. Actually didn't take very long. Let me get my Terra Truncator out. Hey, stop it. Hey. Hey, buddy. Okay, so we got some rubber tree saplings. That's perfect. Let me throw this and this and this. Alright, and we're gonna tap rubber. And what's really neat about this, like, you know, a lot of mods add their own rubbers and their tree taps and all that stuff. That sounded really mature, actually. Add their own rubbers, but anyways, a lot of mods add their own rubber, right? And you basically make a tree tap and click it, and there you go, you get rubber. Betweenlands adds its own rubber, and rubber trees and stuff like that, but the tree tapping method is where it's really unique. This is something that none of the other mods do, really, and I love it. Absolutely love this method. And I am going to turn this into swamp grass, but I'm just going to have to go get some swamp grass, so I'll just have it spread, you know, like grass does. So I'll just do swamp dirt for now. And if we were to take a rubber tree sapling, and we're just going to put it down like right here, that's fine. These things are very, very thin, so... And we'll just right-click this. There we go. We have our rubber tree. And I'm also going to have to plant some like sap trees. Like I left this area open for rubber trees and sap trees. That's basically what I'm doing here. And so what we're going to want to do is let's get ourselves a... There we go. Weedwood bucket. I'm going to need some reed rope though. What? Uh-oh. What's going on here? Uh-oh, my slime guy vanished. I wonder why. Well, I may not be able to farm them indefinitely, but I mean, if I have to run over, I may even make a spawner for them. I have a spawner set up here that will spawn them, and then I can grab them with a soul vial. I don't know. We'll see. Or have them set up in a powered spawner that makes a soul vial, and I can just request them from the system if I need one. I don't know what's with all these just weird sounds. What? I've been in here for so long, I've never ran into this. Whatever this is. Okay. But I think it's like those shadow people. I think, like, this place is just, like, very Cthulhu mythos kind of place or something. Like, very eldritch. Anyways, let's get ourselves some reed ropes. And what we're going to do is we are going to make ourselves some buckets. Let's go with, like, let's go with 8 for right now. Okay, so we got 8 buckets. And then what we can do is we can take these buckets, and we have to have reed rope in our inventory. So I made 8 buckets, and I got 8 reed rope. And we can just... Get out of my house. This is really bizarre. But anyways, if we have reed rope, we can come over here and we can just right-click this rubber tree log with our bucket. And you can see it makes a weedwood bucket that's set here on the side, and it makes a tree tap. And I will say that in the later versions, you can also do like Symarite buckets, and they will actually harvest the rubber a little bit faster. And you can visually see on the bucket how much rubber is in there. But anyways, we're going to have to wait for that to get filled. That's one reason I want to go ahead and get these set up so that these could start filling up. And we can actually tap all around it like this. So, there we go. We have 8 weedwood buckets. And I mean, you can just tap this thing like there's no tomorrow. I don't know what it is today with me and like these just oh my gosh. Anyways, you can... I think it's Betweenlands and all their stuff that we're covering. But anyways, you could just put bucket taps onto this tree all over it, and you know, it's not going to change anything. I mean, all these buckets can run off of the same tree. There's no problems with it. I wish I knew what this madness is. Like, it's like shaders just kicked in and some weird music or something. But anyways, we're going to let that build up. I'm not going to worry about harvesting it right now because we don't need it. But next time we come to the Betweenlands, we are going to need solid rubber. This stuff is used to make the Dentrithist vials, the green and the orange ones, as well as these rubber boots. So, but basically we just smelt it and we can get our solid rubber from it. But I think we've covered most of the farming mechanics, I do believe, today. And then I think the next, you know, like I said, the next episode is going to be a lot of herbology type stuff. Making those vials, messing with the geckos, that sort of stuff. This is so bizarre. But I mean, nothing seems to be coming after me or anything. I think it's just, I'm going crazy or something. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I'm going to end it out right here. I think it's a good wrapping up point. If you guys did enjoy it, be sure and hit that like button. And go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay up to date with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. I hope you guys are enjoying the Betweenlands. I hope you guys are interested in the Betweenlands. It's a really, really neat mod. So much detail and so much like attention to detail type stuff. So anyways, I hope to see you guys next time. And I will say that next episode, my plan is to work on getting our portal for Britannia, and then maybe our quarry. So we may finally get a quarry next episode. That's very, very possible. So that's the plan at the moment anyways. And then the following episode, I think we are going to spend an episode doing a little bit of exploration aside from the Betweenlands, maybe finish up Twilight Forest and explore another Divine RPG dimension after that. Then we'll come back to the Betweenlands. So just a heads up. It looks like whatever this is past now. But anyways, I hope to see you guys next time. Until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys then.